Let him know. You sure it wasn't two? Right, there were eight.
No, but I became a disciple, a part of the campus ministry at Tennessee State University, which is in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I too grew up going to a Catholic church, and then middle school my mom switched jobs. I started going to church with my grandmother, which was Baptist, so I kind of had both coming up. When I got to college, I church hopped. I grew up going to church all my life and believed in God, believed in the Bible, but at the same time, although you go to the religious courses and the classes and stuff, it really didn't foster a personal relationship with God. It was more of a ritual and something that you did. So when I got to college and church taught, I just realized that, man, my convictions were based on other people's convictions, not necessarily my own convictions. So just got to a point in my life where I really started praying about my relationship with God. And then I was reached out to by an old roommate from college, and I went to the church there for the first time, and ironically I couldn't find her when I was there. I saw her at the end, but it was unlike anything I had ever been exposed to. It was a lot of people. It was very diverse. And you get black, white, Chinese, Asian. I mean, everybody. And it felt like a conference, that I was at, but it was really just church. And then it was a theater like. So just the whole ambiance was very different from anything that I was used to. And because I couldn't find her, I ended up sitting by myself. And because I wasn't used to it, I didn't even hear the message because I was just so uncomfortable because it was so different. So I just kind of like, I'm looking around, looking at everybody. I didn't even hear the message. At the end of the service, then I saw my roommate. And then I also saw some other people who I went to school with who came up. And I was like, oh my gosh, who invited you? And I'm like, oh, we talked. But it was just very different. Everybody was very, they were excited to see me, very, huggy. I was not used to people being that up in my space that I didn't know. So I was very guarded. So I was just like, hey, it was just very weird. And I remember thinking, okay. I remember walking back to my car thinking like, ain't nobody that happy. And this is like weird. For those of you, I'm telling my age now, who've ever seen a Stepford Wives, that's how I felt like. Stepford Wives, it was just very, and I remember saying, yeah, I'll probably never come back here again. That was the first time. And so that was fall of 91. Fast forward ahead, fall of 92, spring of 92, sorry, I was reached out to in class. I was talking to a classmate of mine in class. Class was kicking my butt, and I was just like, I just need to get myself together, physically, spiritually, yada, yada, yada. She was like, why do you say that? I said, because I do. And I had been praying about my relationship with God, but she didn't know that. She was like, what if I told you I could help you with that? She's like, well, are you interested in studying the Bible? And I said, it's funny that you asked me that because I've really been praying about that. And I was like, sure. So I started getting together with her once a week in the campus library studying the Bible, and it was very exciting. It was just kind of like, you know things, but it was kind of like almost being introduced again for the first time. And I was so excited. I felt like, man, this is what I've been praying for, and it was just great. So we got together maybe like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We got together like once a week. Ironically, she hadn't pulled anybody else into the study, so it was always just one-on-one. Then she started having some financial difficulties and had to drop out of school. So she tried to hook me up with some other sisters just to continue my studies. But as I shared with you guys, I was I didn't trust very easily. And because nobody had been in the studies, and then it was like 3 weeks before the last time we studied, when some other sisters came in and she wasn't there, it was kind of like that guard was right back up again, and it was just kind of like, okay. But it was just more, at that point it was more of like a knowledge transfer. I wasn't really giving my heart anymore. So I went back to St. Louis for the summer and started going to church with a friend of mine, because again, at that time I was really praying about my relationship with God, and God was working on my heart. So came back to Tennessee. That fall, I think, church hopped again. And Easter Sunday, me and a girlfriend of mine were going to church. I said, you know what, we haven't been to the Nashville church. Oh, I'm sorry, one part I forgot. When I started studying with the girl, and I went to the church, I didn't know the name of the church. So she invited me to church. Remember, I went the year before, didn't remember the name. So when she invited me, I went, and it was meeting at a hotel. So I went there, and the service was great. Felt like my name was all up on the podium because God was working in my heart. And I remember clapping at the end of the service, and then it clicked. And I started looking around. I'm like, wait a minute. Did y'all used to meet down at the theater? She was like, I don't know, let me ask. And it was like, yeah. And I just kind of like laughed internally because I remember thinking, I'd never come back here. And there I was. So, my little rooster crowed 3 times too. And then, when I came back and started church hopping again, I went back the Easter Sunday. And the sister, I remember one of the sisters, like, she was literally in tears when she saw me. And I'm like, because I didn't get it right. So I'm like, why is she all making a big deal? Like, she's like, who invited you? And I was like, nobody. Like, I know where y'all meet. I didn't know this. I'm like, I know where y'all meet. Nobody invited me. I just she's like, oh my God, this is totally God. She's crying. I'm like, oh my God, she's making a big deal. Everybody's looking at me now. So after service, one of the sisters, we exchanged numbers, and the sister was she was in full-time ministry, and met with her for lunch. And this was at the end of the school year, so I was about to go for an internship about 3 hours away. So she was, we were just kind of talking. She was like, I know you studied once before, and then you stopped because the sister, left and couldn't go back to school. Are you open to studying again? And I was like, yeah. She said, well, when can we start studying? And I was like, oh, I'm about to go on my internship, so I'm leaving. And she's like, well, where are you going? I'm like 3 hours away. And she's like, well, how are we going to study? I was like, I'm going to be 3 hours away. So there was a sister who had just gotten baptized who lived, it was going to be like a half hour from where I was going. And she was coming to church every Sunday. So she was 2 hours away. And we would get together once a week, but she was a new Christian. We'd get together once a week and just talk about our weeks, talk about the Bibles, having quiet times, and so on and so forth. And I would drive to her on Sunday, and we would ride together. But I remember, and it was 2 of them, and I would ride, and I'd be in the backseat like, they crazy. Ain't no way I'd be driving 3 hours to church. But here I was saying that, but I'm with them every Sunday in the backseat. But I was like, if it was me, I'd find me another. There's no way I would be driving 2 hours for a church service. But every Sunday, there I was the whole summer, every Sunday. Wow. So when I got back in the fall, I finally started studying. This was September of '93. And I went through the studies, finished my studies in November, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to do this. And a sister shared, sister went and talked to another sister who was in a full-time ministry who had met me and been in one of my studies. And she was like, I don't know what it is, but I don't think she's ready. And I was so discouraged. But instead of me being open, because I didn't know what that meant back then, I just kind of like stuffed it and was like, forget it. And kept coming to church with my little attitude because I didn't get baptized. So I kept coming to church, and every Sunday, every Wednesday, tithing, bringing friends, everything. And then maybe the New Year came, and the sister said, did you ever get baptized? And that's when it came out. I said, no, because so-and-so said I wasn't ready. And so the sister sat down with me, and she said, well, why? And I was like, I don't know. And she took me over to Acts chapter 8 about the Ethiopian eunuch, for those of you who are familiar with that. And when he studied, after he studied with Philip, he says, there's water, why shouldn't I be baptized? And in Acts chapter 2, when the disciples, when Peter preached the sermon, they would cut to the heart, and they said, brothers, what must we do? And she said, you didn't even ask the question. You just let somebody tell you you can't get baptized. And I was so convicted. And so I did go and talk to the sister, and she said, Christi, you're awesome. You've gone through the studies. I see you building relationships. You come to church. You're consistent. You're bringing people. You're already tithing. You're not even a part of the church. She's like, I don't know what it is. She said, I just feel like there's something, and I want to encourage you to pray and ask God to make it clear to you. And so I'm just like, okay, I don't know what that means, but okay, I'll do it. And so I really started praying, and asking God to make it clear and just to really reveal himself to me and to reveal myself to me. And you really have to be careful what you pray for, because it was kind of like claws came out, all the things, with me not being a very open person, I was very guarded, very defensive. So if somebody talked to me a certain way, I met them where they were. I didn't take nothing from anybody. Take my parking space, I'm gonna give you the stink eye. I mean, I was just I wasn't afraid of confrontation. I didn't let people walk all over me. But God was showing me who I was apart from him. And it was not pretty. And so when I started praying and then all this stuff started coming out, I realized that who I was apart from God and what I struggled with and how much I really needed God. And so maybe that was something that I didn't really see before when I'm like, hey, come on, let's do this. So I got with the sister several times. It was a whole bunch of different things that happened in between there. But I remember one Saturday when I got with her and she said, well, I think you're ready. And I was like, oh, no, I'm scared. And she was like, scared of what? And I was like, messing up. And she said, well, Christi, you are going to mess up. When you become a disciple, you're not going to be sin-free. You're still going to be a sinner. The difference will be you'll sin less because of your awareness of sin, and then how you will respond when you do sin and hurt God. And I'm grateful. I feel like had that not happened, I don't know if I would have been faithful if I gotten baptized before, because I hadn't wrestled with God. I didn't really know who I was. So I was grateful for God putting that on her heart, the wisdom and discernment that she gave. And of course I did get baptized the next day. And I guess I can say after 25 years, I think one of the most important things that I've learned is the hardest thing that you're ever going to have to overcome is not going to be someone else or something else. It's going to be you fighting to be like Jesus, no matter what happens to you. And I think practically, I would say the thing that has helped me stay faithful for these 25 years is fighting to find myself in the Bible. I'm struggling with different things. Finding myself in the Bible, studying it out, holding on to the scriptures, studying out the opposite of what I'm struggling with. I'm struggling with pride. I don't need to study out pride. I've mastered it, right? I need to study out humility. I'm struggling with my anger. I don't need to study out anger. I need to study out self-control. But just studying out the opposite and building convictions and having scriptures to hold on to. And I think two of the scriptures that help me, one of the scriptures that helped me then and continues to help me is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And then I think after being a Christian for a while is Psalms 15, verse 5, when David asked, who's going to enter your kingdom? And the response was, those who keep my vows, even when it hurts. Not if it hurts, but when. So there's going to be times that it hurts, but I got to remember my vow and remember that it wasn't easy for Jesus either, and that there's purpose in the pain.
You said what passage is that?
Psalms 15, verse 4. That there's purpose in the pain. So thank you for that.